folks, it's just Nama aka J7, and today I'm going to be talking to you about pressure management. How to manage pressure, the mechanism for pressure management. A lot of folks are bedeviled by varied and variegated forms of pressure. Some have committed suicide, others have made regrettable decisions. Some have been pressured into doing drugs, some have been pressured into marriage, some have been pressured into occultism, some have been pressured into living a lifestyle that exceeds their income. It is pertinent to note that the people we surround ourselves with tend to influence the way we act, think, and behave. We tend to act in consonance with their thoughts just to get their approval. People succumb to varied forms of pressure because they lack the requisites for pressure management. I want to show you that if you gulp down everything I'm going to be giving you today, pressure management will be a foregone conclusion for you. Without further ado, let's get down to
business.
What is pressure management?
The caption
is made of two words. You have pressure and you have management. So let's break it down. What is pressure? Pressure simply means the feeling of stressful urgency. I say that again. Pressure simply means the feeling of stressful urgency or the use of intimidation or persuasion to make someone do something, or the use of intimidation or persuasion to make someone do something. Now, what is management? Management simply means to control, to take charge of, to regulate. I say that again. Management simply means to control, to take charge of, to regulate. So let's bring the two words together. Pressure management simply means the act of controlling pressure, the act of regulating pressure. So how do we manage pressure? Number one, you need to understand yourself. Understanding yourself here simply means you need to sit down, have a meeting with yourself, identify your strengths and weaknesses, and you need to learn to what? To love yourself. A lot of folks are having problems loving themselves. So you can only love yourself once you've been able to identify your strengths and your weaknesses. Then you can start loving yourself. Don't allow what people are saying about you to determine how you act, think, and feel. So the fundamental thing is you have to understand yourself. Then number two thing you have to do is you need to define your ethics. Now, what is ethics? What is ethics? Ethics simply means the standard or criteria for judging the rightness and wrongness of action. Simply put, your do's and don'ts. Your do's and don'ts. So you need to learn to define your do's and don'ts. A lot of folks fail to do this, and once you fail to define your do's and don'ts, definitely other people are going to define theirs and you're going to follow it. So it is pertinent and expedient you learn to what? To define your do's and don'ts. So that's number two. Define your ethics. Number three is you need to understand purpose. You need to understand purpose. Purpose simply means the essence of a thing. You need to learn to define purpose before you make any decision. Now, in understanding purpose, you need to learn to ask some questions. Why should I do this thing? What is the essence of this thing? Why should I make this decision? Once you've been able to do that, you will be able to make a good decision. And the final part is you need to understand the consequence. You need to understand the consequence of the action before you take it. Consequence simply means the aftermath. Why should I do this thing? Can I live with the aftermath of this action before I take it? So a lot of folks make decisions without considering the aftermath, and later on they tend to regret. Some even get to the point of committing suicide. So like I said, number one is you have to understand yourself and love yourself. Number two, I said you have to define your ethics, that is your do's and don'ts. And number three, I said you need to define purpose, and I said purpose is the essence of a thing. And number four, I said you need to know the consequence of an action before you take it. Now, between number three and number four, you have to be very careful because number three and number four are very critical. Some folks make decisions without understanding why they're making decisions. If someone is pressuring you to get married, you need to understand why you have to get married. If someone is pressuring you to do a plastic surgery, you need to understand why you should do the plastic surgery. You need to also understand the consequence of doing plastic surgery. So don't just get to do stuff because people are pushing you to do. Learn to understand the consequence. Once you've been able to follow these 4 steps, I want to assure you that pressure management will be a foregone conclusion. Alright, that's all folks. It's J7 here and I'm signing out. If you've got any question, about anything I've said thus far, just send an email to dandylife4you@gmail.com. And also, if you want to support J7, I'm going to be putting a link below this video, and you can feel free to support me to create more wonderful videos like this. Thank you. It's J7. Talk to you soon.